identify pro-black.
History is about teaching us as a people that we're at war.
I want to speak about the image of our people. We have to be protective of our image.
Our ancestors, they were oppressed, and we are.
Hotep, everybody. Uncle Josh Seneb. Welcome to the John Keb Show. Assalamu alaikum. All those beautiful greetings we bring you today that we've been itching to do for the longest. So sit back, take your seat, and enjoy yourselves, because today we're going to be talking about this topic, this subject: disrespecting, defending, talking about the black woman. Why do we need to defend her, Kev? Why are we talking about this? Should have been put to bed many, many years ago. So we're talking about defending the black woman because she's so disrespected. And some people don't think so. But why do we need to talk about this, man?
I think because that's something that has become unraveled over time in our community. And many of us see the after effects of that when we look at social media. We see all this black men and black women bickering and arguing and going back and forth. And when you attack somebody, the natural thing that they're going to do is attack back.
Right.
And so now we got a back and forth thing happening in the black community where black men is going against black women and black women going against black men.
Yeah.
And Malcolm said something years ago just to show. He said that the black woman was the most unprotected person in America. And she was the most disrespected person in America. So this is going back to the 1960s, how far along this leaders had to make a comment like that. And it's still going on, probably even worse today.
I'm telling you right off the bat, Kev, I'm for the black woman. I'm for the African-American woman. I'm going to defend her, and I know you are too, because she's been disrespected in many, many ways. When you think of racism, when you think of all the things we're going to get into today, the black woman should be defended, because some people say, well, she shouldn't be defended. We know the black man and the black woman should defend themselves. But as a male, as an African-American male, I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and let somebody talk about the black woman, the queen, the most precious person that gave us life, So we got to talk about why we should defend her. And like you mentioned earlier, you kind of opened up a can of worms, because some of us are sick the way we treat our sisters. And we got to talk about that mindset and how we are not going to allow that to happen.
Well, I have a what I call the call of duty.
Okay.
Me as a black man.
Okay.
That's my call of duty.
That's right.
It's protecting the black family, protecting my black woman.
Okay.
By any means necessary.
Wow. Okay.
And so my thing is protecting and defending. Defending is one thing. Protecting her is also protecting her from the negativity that she may be induced to have upon herself. So she wouldn't, she would carry herself a certain way. We have to bring up our girls in a certain way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So protect them from the negative concept of how they think they should be acting, or what they think is acceptable.
Right.
Protect them from that, because that's something put out there.
And Kel, when you think about it, the black woman, the African-American woman, she's been through so much, man. And sometimes we don't sit back and reflect upon her strength. And we don't reflect upon all the things that have happened to her, and that through it all, she's still standing strong. You see, after the clouds dissipate, she's still standing strong. And because many women of other ethnicities and races, they've been through a lot, but you cannot compare that with what the African-American woman has gone through in the United States of America. When we talk about slavery, we talk about rape, we talk about pillage, we talk about plunder, we talk about psychological mutilation, we talk about seeing your children being sold, your relatives. And so through all of that, this woman is still standing here, and she's still strong on the throne. But unfortunately, many of us men and other people, of course, we have taken this whole ideal of this beauty and we have misconstrued it. And this is why I want to sit up here and tell you that I'm hyped today. I'm excited because I've got to give her proper due, man, because she doesn't always get it. And I don't hear many shows and broadcasts. I hear them putting them down. I hear them throwing shade at them, but I don't hear them saying, hey, That's why even in the spiritual community, we call them queens. We know that literally all of them may not be literal queens, but we give them that figurative language because most brothers, when they get a little bit older, it's the B word, see?
Right.
It's the H, you see? Yeah. And so we would never say that. So that word has been eradicated from my vocabulary, big brother.
And you have to do that as far as I'm concerned. When it's one extreme that's being presented and promoted, you want to take it to another extreme to balance that off, to say, okay, you're not a B, you're not a hoe, you're not a this and this. So we take you to the next extreme. You're a queen.
That's right. That's right.
It's just like if you have a kid, everybody, oh, my grandbaby's so brilliant, she's excellent, she's extra, and she may be just doing ordinary baby stuff.
Right.
But if you use those superlatives, to bring them up and give them confidence in themselves. And sometimes you give them that title, you can't act like this if you're gonna be a queen. No, you're this and you're that.
Good encouragement. Because I mean, I've looked at a couple of our sisters who I want to use one for an example. And when I think about a certain sister that was strong, I think of her name was Isabella Bumfree, but she changed her name to Sojourner Truth. Now you go to Akron, Ohio. Most of us know Akron, Ohio for LeBron James, but I know Akron, Ohio for Sojourner Truth because she gave a speech that was coined "Ain't I a Woman?" And in that speech, man, in 1851, she gave a stirring speech about the respect that the African-American woman was not getting. She wasn't even invited. She showed up and she got a chance to grace the mic. They didn't even want her to talk. But when she got through with them people, she told them people about the importance of the African-American woman. And to me, that's what we need to get back to, because a lot of our sisters have allowed all of the things that we talk about to kind of make them feel as though they're insignificant. And we're saying today on this broadcast on the John Kev Show, we love you. You are very significant. We get excited when we talk about you. That's why I got that Kool-Aid smile on my face, because we know that it's been a struggle. And we got other illustrations we're going to get into, but that was one of the person that I could think of who went through hell, man. But she let her heart lead her, and she also dealt with the society that she was living in.
Yeah, and I think that speech should be something that is brought into our culture and normalized as something that we as a people know.
Yeah,
I think most of us don't know about the speech, and I think we should be very familiar with, and especially in producing and training of our young women to learn how to act, to learn how to carry themselves.
Right,
because this is the things that these guys are attacking. But I want to say one thing about our Black women from the first comment that you made. They have been the backbone of our people. From everything that we've done and been here, they've been the one that had to be that masculine figure, the one that carried the torch, because as what they did to us, they stripped the Black man of any masculinity, as much as they could, and then they did whatever they wanted to the women, and we had to stand back and watch, or many of us just chose to, or whatever. Many of us didn't have to. You could give your life defending that.
Talk, man.
But I'm saying we had to sit there and watch this and witness this and witness the kids being taken away. A lot of times we didn't have that bond with our kids because we were being bred. Just like you get two dogs, one is like, okay, then you take him away. He never had to see the kids. So she had that bond with those kids.
Yes, sir.
Because she carried them. And then she watched them being taken out of her arms and sold or whatever, and even watch them mature a little and be raped.
Boy, you own it. It looks like it's water in here, but this might be some yak. I'm gonna take a drink to that, man. You can keep talking because I drink, because this is beautiful what you're saying.
And I think if we consider some of those things as men, as a people,
come on, man,
what we've been through, then we wouldn't be so quick to down if we acknowledge all the things that they've done for us.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of us had this name, Big Mama. Big Mama, the one that kept the house together.
Yeah.
Big Mama, the one that stayed with Granddad, no matter what he did, and we think that women need to be like her. But it's only gonna be so much that a woman gonna take from men that don't appreciate her.
Right. Our sisters, man, I mean, we can't go into details because there may be some children or young adults watching this, but our grandmothers, our mothers, and just a lot of the women back in the day, they had to do some things, Kev. They had to do some things that I can't say it, but those who are an adult, you should read between the lines. They had to do some things, man, that a lot of people can't imagine, just to do as much as they could to keep the family together, you see.
Right.
And see, we don't like to talk about that. So I know, and you know, that the Black woman is strong, even though she's being oppressed today as we speak. Because see, some people think that oppression has gone away, since you can look at some of these young sisters who may be doing great economically. But overall, our sisters are still catching the hell that they caught, because racism hasn't gone anywhere.
Right.
It hasn't gone anywhere, I should say. You know, unemployment, you know, all of the things that still affect these sisters, they're still battling through that, you know, trying to pay these bills with, you know, not that much income, based upon them being discriminated because of this sexist ideology and this male chauvinism that many of us men, I don't mean you and I literally, but the man, we have I almost use vulgarity, but we have a messed up attitude when it comes to chauvinism, because some people think, and we bought into this philosophy of the European, that because I'm a man, I can treat you anyway. I'm better than you. Even in some religions. Now, some religions, the books don't teach it that way, but the people who interpret it, they do. And so they put the woman down. And when I was in Japan, you know, they make the women sit certain places, you know, and in certain places, and even in the United States, it's our perspective, you see. And instead of bowing down to this woman and saying, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here, we've taken on this attitude that this woman is beneath me. Even in the Bible and other books, she shouldn't speak. She made man to sin. She's lower than this. The man was created first. And, you know, these are the things that we've brought into as a society. And damn it, Kevin, I'm excited. And I want to set the record straight if I never do it again on this broadcast, man.
All right. Yeah. A lot of that, I agree with a lot of that, most of that. And I think an important part is like the cultural assimilation, like you're saying, that many of us have gotten from the European mindset. And you see how long it took them to allow writing rights in this country and how they treated them. And then also just the being a woman part in this society, for one, and then being a Black woman too, you know, because you are now, they was used, you know, when women's rights and the women's lib movement came about, they needed our Black woman, but see, it didn't have anything to do with their race. So they were fighting for rights for them, and then they used our woman to, I believe they had Ida B. Wells or someone speak at one of their conventions, something like that for women. And but then you turn around and then it's like, oh, but this don't apply to you. We needed you, but it don't apply to you. And then you look at the Black, like you say, that she's been through a lot that even she protected her kids from knowing. She protected her man from knowing at time, because she did not want him to fly off the handle and say that so-and-so, because you're working at his house as a maid, that he's taking liberties or he's forcing, because now it's like, I need this job. We need this job. And maybe I can deal with this stuff. I mean, you look at the times, how bad times were for women, period. But then for Black women, even more, because they had no rights. There was no rape laws against Black women in the country for the longest. Even now, I'm talking after slavery. I'm talking about Rosa Parks era and things like that. There was no crimes for rape that was anyone was gonna convict a white man of raping a Black woman.
And it's still going on today. I'm gonna give the number now. We normally wait for a little longer, but the phone lines, I can't tell anybody what to do, because Kevin and I are not like that. But I want to suggest the phone line should be ringing with brothers who say, this subject matter, I'm gonna chime in on, because I love my woman. And I don't mean necessarily that you with the woman or whatever, but the whole idea of the African American woman, you should have something to say. The number is 361-405-6111. I'll say it again. Then I want to bring up a woman that I know everybody needs to know about. 361-405-6111. The woman I want to say that was strong in the face of that. Now, this is a woman that took a business from 1900 to, I believe, about the 1940s. But her name was Annie Malone. See, and I'm not getting into this thing about Madam C.J. Walker being the first millionaire, and Annie Malone was really the first millionaire, because Madam C.J. Walker actually worked for Annie Malone. But what I want to say about Annie Malone is this. Here is a woman against all odds. Can you imagine what she had to go through in the 1900s to open up Poro Beauty College and to deal with the mess, the crap that came with employing so many African-American women, 75,000 all over the United States, all over the world, and the death threats and all of the things that she had to go through. And when it comes to beauty, and even today, we have taken that beauty concept and given it to other people who come in our communities, like Asians, and we buy hair from them, and we buy nails from them, we buy all these things from them. When Annie Malone taught us that these types of business savvy skills that Black women should have, she's an encouragement, man. And after looking at her story, I could not believe what she went through to kind of protect the Black woman in spite of all those things that they tried to do to thwart her business and to belittle her name and to treat her like crap. But she still did so much for women when it comes to beauty and orphanage and just women's suffrage at all.
Yeah, and what that is, this is an educator educating us. This is a teacher teaching us, and this is something that we need to have and need to take into consideration, even as some of our women need to take these things into consideration. Look at your history. Look at those that has persevered despite what they've gone through. And for you to sit there, if any woman sits there and says, well, you take the easy road out, to take things for granted, I'm just going to be like this. I'm just doing what I want to do and how I want to do it. You have to look at the struggle and look at the torch that is being given to you. Like you said, they where was the Asians back then?
Yeah, really.
Where were they at? Where were they at?
They
came here and then they just took over something that we basically had to do for ourselves, which is, and then now they're taking all the money and they're not reinvesting it, and it's not empowering us in any kind of way. But many of us has that mentality, that I'm going to them because they're the best. They're the best, but they're not the best suited for your interest, exactly, you or your people.
See, and this is an encouragement I want to tell to everyone. It's hard in the United States of America to find an African-American woman in business. Let's talk about it. A lot of the brothers that's out there now that's having businesses, I salute them as well. But just to say, and I bet you we don't know 10 women that are African-American entrepreneurs that's doing well, that has at least 15 or more employees. So what I'm saying all that to say is to say this: we should go find them. We should find the women that are out there that's in business and support them. See? And we don't have to complain about it, but those who are out there, we can Google African-American women businesses and, search high, search low, and support them to try to make sure that they're not struggling because of a lack of our participation.
Well, I think you're going to be finding it hard to find many of us, period, because that's not something that we do. We don't support each other in the business world like that. But you're probably right. But I don't think that that's something in our culture that we look at supporting each other. And these are things that we have to fix.
Right.
We have to fix. And to me, and see the thing that we run into when you look at a lot of these shows or these feeds that pit Black men versus Black women, they always say, well, they too masculine. They trying to be a boss. That type of woman, a lot of men, weaker minded men or that don't understand. When I'm saying weaker minded man, understand how my mentality is. We have a weaker mindset because that has been conditioned into us. So we are presented with that culturally as being a weaker minded people, period. So when I'm saying that, we don't look beyond the boundaries that has been put in front of us, the obstacles, to understand that we have to support our own. We have to defend our women, no matter what. And however it translates, if she's a strong woman and she's in a business and she's running a business, she's being a boss. Many men, period, in society, period, whether you're Black or white, they don't a boss. So then when we look at our Black woman, we have to understand that this is good for our people, period. Whether you're a man or woman or whatever. I need that Black woman. This is where she's at because she's strong. A lion, a female lion ain't supposed to be weak.
Come on now. Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
she's going to other animals, she's gonna be like, man, that mug is, and to that male lion, he should be in the forefront of her, but he should be respecting her. But then those other animals, it's like she's being put below the hyenas and the cheetahs and those lesser animals and things like that. And even the male lion is being put down because he's allowing that to happen.
Yeah, Kevin, and it all goes back to what you said earlier that was so prolific. When you mentioned about the mindset that we have adopted, that I'm talking about us as men. We have taken a Eurocentric mentality and we have run amok with it. And so now we see our women the way they see their women see. And that's why a lot of times the black woman, the African-American woman, she's catching hell because instead of us helping and supporting and lifting her up, we're cutting her down because she may be making more money than I'm making. And because society says that a man's supposed to bring the bacon, but it's not about that, man. It's about realizing that this person has a strong will. And this person is there for us, even when it comes to being a sexist, most of us, and being misogynistic. Well, we listen to our songs, man. Let's talk about that. Every other word is you be, you this, you that, you H. And we run out and buy this garbage. And no one is telling us that it is garbage because these people that are doing that, we're supporting that whole mentality that we're talking about. Do you not know that we talk about the black male being incarcerated, the African-American male being incarcerated, and we are being incarcerated at an alarming rate? But have you ever looked at the African-American female, the woman, and see that she's being incarcerated for the numbers that they have right now, but nobody's bringing attention to that? So it goes to show you that we have we have a lot of work to do.
I'm gonna say this. You said that we are basically cultural assimilation is what you're talking about. With us seeing our woman the way that they see that their women. I think we see our woman the way they see our woman. They see their woman better than they see our woman. And many of us see their woman better than we see our own woman because we are looking at our woman the way that he looks at our woman.
I hear you.
Which is but at the bottom of should be the bottom of the totem pole as far as society. The man is first, the woman is next, then the black man is next, then the black woman is the bottom. And that is not how we supposed to see each other. That's not because she carried us. You got to have that respect for her. And I think we have to acknowledge some of the things. Now, I'm gonna bring something up. As of late, the prison rates, the black woman prison rate dropped to the lowest of any group in America. Many of us don't realize that or know that. She was up there high with the Hispanic woman, the white woman, but her rate, and then what happens also is what they always talk about. She's the most educated group now because she's going to school. She's getting trades. She's getting degrees. She's opening up businesses. She's doing everything. A lot of that without even having our support or having to be a single mother doing it because we are not taking care of our situations at home like we should. And some of that we have to realize is planned through the system. So when she's making all that money and we're not hardly making any money, then that's going to bring stress in the household. And then when couples get into arguments like they do, then what she's going to say, I don't really need you.
Now you may put me off this show for saying this, Kev, because I know you and I we stand up kind of guys, but I'm going to shift gears, but I'm going to say something now that it's got to be said. How can we do a broadcast about the upliftment of the African-American woman and not talk about domestic violence? In other words, these men, many of us, we're putting our hands, and I know you rearing back in that chair, so I know you ready. I'm gonna open this thing up and give it back to you. We have a high rate of domestic violence when it comes to brothers putting their hands on black women. This has got to stop, man. This has got to stop. Any man that puts his hand on a woman, I don't care what the reason is for, a black woman, a sister, and then boast about it. And then if I put my hands on a woman and instead of you saying, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, John, you pat me on the back. Yeah, what you do to that B, you should have done that. She ain't this. We got to start telling people when they come to us boasting about how they physically assault our sisters, we got to begin to check them. And we got to stop being punks and wusses and letting these men run amok on our sisters and go ahead and clap and applaud when they do that. And we don't even talk about that. But we got to, what say you, brother?
All right. I think men physically being stronger than women, anytime you're jumping on somebody that's weaker than you, then you're being a bully. Point blank. So, of course, they say stop the bullying, stop the bullying. Physically, you should never be putting your hands on your woman. I mean, a woman, you could be defending yourself. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be, ignorant to the fact that sometimes women try to fight men, and sometimes women try to fight men because they know men are not gonna fight back, you know. And I've seen situations, I've been in situations like that, because if you say, well, I don't hit women, I don't do this and do that, and then she would take that, you know, overboard, like, hey, you know what, he's not going to hit me back, and I think I could do this and do that. And that's a thing that we have to come up with, teaching women and teaching men how to deal with each other. But the bottom line, the most basic thing that you do once you can't talk, is get physical. You know, that's what the lower level people do. You should be able to discuss your issues,
right?
Or, you know what, I'm hot right now, let me simmer down, let me do this, and let me walk away. And that's how we gotta handle our differences. You're right. I don't think that black men should be touching black women, or any woman, period, and no man should be touching any woman. Now, the problem I really have is when we allowing other people to put their hands on our women. You know, that case that happened, I believe it was in it was here in Texas. I believe the woman was in a parking lot, and I know many of y'all seen the video, and that just irked me. And the guy went in full-fledged, knuckles, everything. You know, he knocked her phone out of her hand, and then he went to beating her. He has no respect for a black woman. Has no respect to the fact that she is a woman,
right?
One, and he thinks like, because he wouldn't do his own woman like that. And my thing is, where are the black men with this situation? You know, he should have been catching hell, or
some knuckles,
you know, whatever,
right?
You know, so if we're not even protecting her, and supposed to be protecting her outside,
right? And
that's the problem.
It's the same with verbal abuse, you know, because we're talking about physical abuse, and I get that other side. We can do a broadcast about some women who take advantage of that, but I'm talking about the men who they make a living off of this. This is all they've seen their father beat their mother, they've seen their uncles beat their wives, girlfriends, and so now they look at that as, this is a part of life. I'm supposed to do this, and I'm saying that's not right. And you know, we have to also look at the cultural stereotyping. In other words, when you see another woman of another ethnicity or race, you give her high praises mentally. When you see an African American woman or a black woman, you look at her and you start thinking the worst of her. You know, like in these movies, a lot of times they play these roles as the African woman. She's beneath womanhood. She'll do anything for money. She's ratchet. You know, this is a mindset that many of us have when it comes to what we've been sold all of our lives. So now we see that, even though we've been fed that, we actually see our women like that. And we have to address that whole mindset of, why is it that you can see another woman and you can think nothing but good things about her, but the moment that an African American woman walks in the room or is on the screen, automatically your mind goes to, she's up to no good, or she's trying to get, she's a gold digger, which an African American woman or black woman, she could never be a gold digger. You see, but this is the kind of mindset that we have because we've been conditioned. And I'm saying, doing this show, we got to address that, and we got to allow people to know that you shouldn't think like that. Your mama's not like that.
We shouldn't think like that. But what came to my mind when you were saying that, why are we accepting those type of roles as black women? As a black man, I mean, I understand, but see, I'm saying, if I got, now I'm gonna put it like this. I won't think that Denzel gonna accept the role as being a step and fetcher to anything like that. If he turns down that role, then I think somebody else will take it, but they're gonna be a entity in the business. And some of our sisters that has a name, that has respect within it. I can't see Angela Bassett playing a role where she's a scandalous, slutty type of a woman. You know,
if they gave her, she wouldn't do it.
I think, and if she did do it, I think that she would that would hurt her career.
Okay.
Now, that's what I think. Now, you could say, well, man, they paid her this much to do it. You know what? I made my money, pay somebody else to demean our people, because what is the value of demeaning our people and demeaning yourself? At what point you put a price on that and say, you know what, I could get another role. I'm good enough. But see, now some of them other people, they probably can't do that.
Right.
And they're going to do that. Saying it shouldn't be something at some point, because whatever role you're accepting, you're projecting that on our daughters.
Yeah.
You know, people that look up to you, and I'm just using Angela Bassett name, or anybody that look up to some of these artists. Then if you are demeaning yourself for the money, what are you teaching our kids?
Right.
This is part of our problem where we're dealing with our women. Some of our men, we don't understand what's happening, so we're attacking the victim. That and then some of our women that attack our men, you're attacking the victim. Even if you're making more money, you're a doctor, you're a professional, they're giving you those type of that leeway to get there because they know that's going to cost. They're going to hold your black man down in a financial world. And they're going to allow you, and then they're going to be pushing for you to, you know what, you should be looking to open racial. You know, why you just relegating yourself to a black man? If it's black men out there, other men. And see, that's the separation within us, and that's completing the puzzle of what they're trying to do. But I'm saying that if they look and see and understand what's happening to our people, your black man is struggling in this economy that he has no power in. So yeah, you're getting more leeway and more wiggle room to go to school and do more. And then you're going to be leaving him behind. But you got to understand, it's not you're leaving him behind financially, you're bringing him with you. So this is what I'm saying. We have to understand what's happening around us to deal with the problems, because they're trying to create problems with us. Yeah,
that was really excellent. And I want to bring something up now that I think we definitely want to comb here real quick. Black woman, African-American woman of whatever you want to call yourself. You come in many shades. I'm talking about colorism. Now, we didn't start it and we're not going to finish it. But what am I saying? I don't care if you blue black. I don't care if you yellow as a yellow crayon. I don't care what your pigmentation is. You are beautiful, you see. You don't have to look down on another woman if she's 4 shades darker than you and vice versa. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say, Kev, with all my heart and soul, this colorism should have been put to bed a long time ago, but it's still there. It's still there, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. So what I'm saying to our sisters is, regardless of how you look shade-wise, love yourself for the person that you are. Bring to the table all of your values, all of those things that make you unique, and celebrate who you are. And don't try to be like somebody else. And if you're not like somebody else, don't put that somebody else that looks like you down just because of shades of a so-called color. So I want to encourage the sisters to really look at that, because it's still going on. It's in songs, not only in songs, it's in life. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, but we don't like each other because of the shade of our skin, man.
Yeah. And I mean, that's something that has been imprinted upon us. I mean, if I look back and what I was thinking about, like with the Black Panther Party, the sisters that was in the Black Panther Party, and some of those sisters was high yellow, and they had the afro, just like sister on the wall, Angela Davis, and they Lang Brown in them, but they was like, I'm black and I'm beautiful. I'm black, I'm beautiful. I don't care what color. And I hear people, that's why I cringe when I hear people say, well, I'm not black because that's a color. You got yellow women with afro, because the power of saying I'm black, that's a different thing than a shade that somebody, because see, they could control you with that shade. That's what they put the paper bag thing that they used to do, what the Spaniards used to do. So we adopted that, and we start thinking that other people, this was the standards of beauty. But when you have that mindset that I don't care about that, I'm black, I'm black, and I see our sister doing that now. Serena, where she's like making herself look almost Caucasian. It's like, man, you know, and I'm like, the sister you get lost in the shuffle. And I'm not gonna blame you, because I understand what our people have been through, but we have to get that out of us. We have to get rid of that being color struck. And if someone mentions it, now I'm gonna bring something, even the tint of your skin, the texture of your hair. You know, we look at that negatively. We say that's bad hair, and you might not use the word bad hair, but when you say that something else is good, then the opposite of that is bad. So that's what you're saying. And when people say that to me, and I ask them, I don't care what it is we talking about. You know, that actor, the one with the good hair. Like what actor is that? You know, the one that I say, no, you said good hair. What is good hair? I'm gonna attack that. I'm gonna attack that right there. I'm gonna nip it right in the butt. I'm gonna be like, I don't want to hear good hair, bad hair. Right. Or if you talk about good hair, this should be the hair that's yours.
Exactly.
So the skin thing, the pigmentation, and then the hair thing, and then the way brothers attack women, that's something in our mind that's like blocking our success, blocking us from. So
defending the African-American woman, defending the black woman. That's what we're talking about on the Jai and Kev show. Why are we defending the African-American woman? Why are we defending the black woman? Well, because this woman has been under constant scrutiny. She's been under constant attack. She's been under attack physically. She's been under attack emotionally. She's been under attack every kind of way that we could imagine. And so as the males in that same so-called race, it's incumbent upon us to stand up and hold our chest up and talk to the sister and talk about the sister in a positive light instead of calling her all these names. To even they call themselves that who is that? That's my B. This is another sister to another sister. No. We have to defend her because she's still the first, as they say, the last hired and the first fired. We have to defend her because she's still catching hell on a day-to-day basis based on the fact that even some of us don't even see her for the woman that we should see her for because of our screwed up mentality. She's still catching hell based on the fact that she has children by a man that she said she loved and he left for whatever reason, or they got a divorce or they separated. And now, instead of him saying, you know what, she was good enough to lay with, she's good enough to kind of help out throughout the rest of this thing, if that's the situation, because we have those kids and so forth and so on. But nowadays, the mentality is we impregnate them and then we leave them and then we talk about them based on the fact of us not being the men that we should be. So I want to raise her up. All this broadcast, we're going to talk about positive and negatives. That's why I like doing broadcasts with you. We play both sides of the album. We don't just play one side. We play both sides of the album. But I think we do have to look at, she should be lifted up. Now, we're not sitting here saying that every black woman or African-American woman has never done any wrong. That's not our broadcast. Our broadcast is about defending her. And that's exactly what we're doing on this broadcast.
Why do you think Malcolm X said she was the most unprotected?
Because he realized that the system that we lived in and the things that was going on, that it was affecting us. And if you get to the woman first, you ain't got to worry about the man because the woman is powerful. She's strong.
The woman raises our kids. So however you demean that woman and the mindset that you give her, she's going to pass that along to her kids. And whether she has a boy or a girl, they're the rearers of our children. The reason I think he said she's the most unprotected, because what I said about the call of duty, what I'm saying is, as a black man, it's my duty to protect my woman. And as black men, it's our duty to protect our women. And we are the ones that are not protecting our women the most out of all the other races that's coming.
What you saying?
When you have he's not going to make songs demeaning his woman. He's not going to make movies, these black exploitation movies, demeaning his woman, himself doing it, or let alone somebody else doing it and allowing them to do it.
Right.
You're not going to see that with an Italian person. You're not going to see that with a Mexican man. You're not, or a Puerto Rican or a brown. You're not going to see that with an Asian. They're not going to demean their own women, and we do that. The white man doesn't demean his own woman like that. Who else does that but us? Who else, like you brought up, even that was back then, even if I bring up black exploitation,
right,
it was happening then, and we'll share clips of that. And then even today, it has transcended into our music. These bees, these hoes, these da. And then they saying it themselves. I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. I'm this and that. So that's why they're the most unprotected, because no one's protecting them against, and everyone else is attacking this woman in particular. No one's attacking a Mexican woman at extent or the Asian woman at that extent, but they attack the black woman with negative connotations. She's loud, she's aggressive, blah, blah, blah. The police is attacking her and arresting her. And she's the only woman that I see them slam on the ground with such ferocity or punch in the face. I haven't seen that happen with any other race. So she is the most attacked, and then she's not even being protected by her man. That's why I think he said she's the most unprotected.
Beautiful. And she has to realize as well that, self-esteem can't be given to you. That has to be coming from within. Right. And that self-esteem is something that'll make her look at herself in spite of her financial situation, in spite of her social standings, in spite of her political affiliations or her religious affiliations. She's going to look at her self-esteem and she's going to say, just like Harriet Tubman said when she gave that speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" Basically, I know who I am, man. I love myself. So I'm not going to let anyone denigrate me. I'm not going to let anyone put me down, whether it's through music, whether it's through images, no matter what it is, because she knows deep inside her soul that she's valuable. And that's what I want to tell the sisters today. I'm not running for any political office today, sisters, but I'm telling the truth when it comes to self-esteem is a big issue within our sisters. And I'm saying, if you look at who you are and love what you see and don't try to equate yourself with somebody else, that's a biggest part of the problem right there, because when we try to be like somebody else and we don't own up to who they are or what they have, then we begin to feel a certain way about ourselves. So then we try to achieve what they have. So I'm saying, look within your heart, look within your soul, look within everything within you, the resources of your mind, and realize that you are a very, very special, unique person, and celebrate that. Celebrate that.
Yeah, I think black men and black women in America are not trained or educated in a proper way to develop our skills or standards, our standards to exemplify who we really are. I think that no one is teaching us, young men, how to be men. And if you teach them how to be men, you're going to learn how to treat a woman, and vice versa. There's not enough or anything. What are the places that they could go to learn how to be a woman or how to act as a woman? You know what I'm saying? It's not, this culture is not going to teach a culture of simulation as far as America.
Right.
It's not going to teach you. America's about sexism. You know, you see it. They selling cars, or they got a lowrider show. What they have, women in bikinis. They selling airline commercials. What they have a woman showing off her body, her curves, whatever. It's sexism. So that's what this culture is. But we have to detach from that and have respect for yourself. And we have to type of way of teaching our young girls how to be women and how to respect themselves, and teach our young boys how to be men and how to respect our women and protect our women.
Okay, you threw me a ball of baseball, but you didn't throw it fast. You threw it underhand. You let me hit it. So I'm gonna hit this one. This is why at Liberation Academy we have a school that have at least 8 to 10 girls. And we teach them at a young age, you see, just the very thing you said, because when a girl is born and go into the educational system, they're not going to teach them about identity. We have a class called identity, and we give them an opportunity to express themselves. And at first, most of the comments are the same. I'm ugly. I don't like myself, blah, 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 you know. And so then we let them get all that out, and then we begin to challenge them. Who told you that? Where did you get that from? And we begin to develop the inner workings of these young girls, so that as they continue to grow up, it's not going to be a matter where someone can demean their self-esteem, because their identity class, it addresses the very thing you said. And it's got to be like that, because public school system, they don't have identity classes. In fact, they want you to be like somebody that you're not. So we're saying that is crucial. When you get a group of young girls like that, that's what you have to instill in them. And that's why we teach what we teach when it comes to identity. And I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. I see you took that one. You hit that one right out the park. We need that for our young men.
Of course.
We need that. We need examples to be set. And a lot of these guys, they sit up here. A lot of them, they used to send me videos and like, man, you talk all like this, but look at this woman doing that. You look at this woman doing that. And I'm like, okay, you could send me a video about any woman doing something negative or any man doing something negative. That doesn't erase the fact that we got to protect and defend our women. Sometimes we got to protect them against outside and inside, because you got a lot of these men that think that this standard of beauty is a certain thing. So these women, they're looking at this man. This is what a man think is beautiful. This is what I have to, you know, okay, I got to have my hair a certain way. I got to straighten my hair out.
Right.
Or my skin is too dark, because this is what, I mean, there's some celebrities that Lil Kim is one that came to mind. I thought she was a nice looking sister. And I know my cousin told me, well, she had these things, men treated her like this, and she wanted to, and she started changing her features. Right. You know, and I see Michael Jackson has done that. This is something you know, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is we have to have that factory that in our community that's producing people that think not like they want us to think.
Yes, sir.
You know, to build our culture in a certain way that, you know what, I don't care how kinky your hair is, man. Even if I wish my hair was kinky and kinky like that. I love the complexion of your skin. Or don't even make it about complexion. I say it. If I see a kid with kinky hair or dreadlocks, I say, man, I come up and I say, I love your hair.
Beautiful,
you
right?
Know, just to say that,
right?
You know, and it's. I may see another kid and I like their hair, but because I think that they need that reinforcement. You're out here, you know what? They might still feel good about themselves. You know, like, you know what? Somebody else telling me how beautiful my hair is. You know,
boy, Kevin, you know, you on fire today, and I'm going to say something. I'm not a television guy, but I do watch movies every blue moon. Well, the moon was blue one day, and I watched the movie, and it rung dear to me as to what you're saying, how we act towards other women as opposed to the African American or the black woman. Movie, and it's out now, but a lot of people know it's called Django. Okay, now you know where I'm going with this. It's called Django. There was one actor in that movie, although it was far-fetched because it would have never happened that way, with a black man riding around doing that. But the point I want to make is there was a character in there. I think his name was Steven, but he was played by Samuel Jackson. Man, I have never seen a man play a role the way he played that role. Right. But the point I'm making in all these role plays is that mindset that Steven had, man, this dude was, there's no word to describe the kind of person he was when it came to how he hated himself and his people and will do anything to appease this man. Many of us, we don't want to admit it, and we might say, oh, I'm not that bad. But psychologically and emotionally and internally, we just are not acting on a camera. We're doing it in real life in our own ways. Yeah. And that was terrible the way his mind, and that's what you're mentioning, how some of us, we have that same mindset. Yeah. Man.
I can't think of the word they use when they put that in movies like that, but it's like they magnify the character to make a point. And I mean, they make it so atrocious. And what it does, it sticks with you. It's not something like subtle. It's like they make it so blatant that it becomes like people like, oh man, him in that movie.
I'll never forget that. Yes, sir.
And other people may not act to that extent, but you don't understand. This is you. This is a representation of you in this community and our culture.
Come on,
and this is something, like I said, we got to protect them from within and from the exterior. We also have to protect their mentality, like you're saying with the girls, and we have to protect the mentality of our people against attacking them. Because you have this type of mentality. Yeah. Now you think you could talk to our women this way, treat our women this way. We have to, build them up a certain way and protect them from the inside damage that is being done.
Yes, sir.
I remember a lot of guys that would talk to me, and my thing is like they cry, and I say these words. I say, stop crying. These women, they too masculine. These women, and I say, man, stop crying. A woman, she don't want these. She talking about she want a man that's 6 feet tall. So what? Stop crying. And it reminded me when I was in basic training, and both of us was in the military, and they train us. We go through all this stuff, and basic is supposed to be the tough. They're trying to take you from one place to another place at a quick time frame, and at night you hear these guys and they're crying, they complaining. I'm like, brother, and I used to say that, man, stop crying. We train to do this. They train, and we have to train our people. Men, when I hear a man talk about how masculine a woman or how I'm not talking about men, I'm talking about her, she's too this and she won't listen. I'm like, well, that's a reflection of you. If I look at women, I tell them I don't have those type of problems. With a woman, don't listen because they want to hear what you got to say. If you educate yourself or respond in a certain way, and they can respect who you are and they respect what you're going to tell them. If you're just going to fly off the handle, if they tell you something about yourself, and then you want to get all mad, you can't defend it, then you want to put your hands on it or storm out. That's not, communication skills, leadership. As a man, I'm gonna teach her what it is to see a man, and for me to be a man, she's gonna respect that. And if they don't respect you, then look in the mirror and say, well, you know what? Or maybe these ain't the type of women that I'm not gonna sit there and be trying to say this to some woman that got bleached blonde hair and blue contacts or green hair. Then she's, you know what, sister, I talk to you, but I'm not, and if I can't reach you, I'm not gonna put you down.
Wow. Now, Kev, we have cameras all in our studio. So we got cameras over here, cameras over there, but I'm gonna look in this camera right here and I'm gonna talk to the people, and I'm gonna be serious about what I'm about to say. What I'm about to say happens to be about a way of encouragement. There's one thing that I believe the sisters need to take as far as from what I'm saying now. There's one word, and it's called love. You've got to love yourself. And once you understand and realize that love is not about somebody else, it's about you treating yourself with everything that you have in your soul, every fiber in your being. You're going to make sure that you're doing the right thing. You're going to see yourself the right way. You're going to not allow others to manipulate you. You're going to do everything you can to maintain the dignity, the values, and all those things like that. And it's not found in a person of the opposite sex. That's beautiful when it comes to relationships. But love is defined by how we see ourselves and what will we allow to happen to us. So I want to encourage all you sisters out there to love yourself. That's what it's all about. And when you love yourself, these kind of discussions will be far and few between, because you're going to know that, hey, no one can put me down. No one can do anything to me that I'm not going to allow them to do anything to me, because I love myself and I know who I am. And that's all I want to say to you sisters, is love yourself, because you're beautiful outside and inside. Just go ahead and live it out.
Dignity. We got to have Black dignity. Don't let anybody take you to a place that you shouldn't be in, or a mind frame that you shouldn't be in, even whether they look like you or don't. And we know the ones that don't, that is a lot of their mission. I'm gonna read some of the comments. Sakina, she gave salams. Peace, sister. I appreciate it. Barbara, she said, Hotep, I appreciate that, sister. Andra said, peace, my brothers. Thank you for this conversation. And she said, truth. And I'm sorry, I missed that. You said that 36 minutes ago. You know, you just be going on. And Sister Royal said, Mashawanda, she said, there are a few African-American women businesses where I live, and I always support them. It's important to support our own. I appreciate that. Leslie said, speak. And she said, it's a good topic. And Coretta, I appreciate you showing up. She said, speak. Teresa Lewis said, when we are divided and not respecting each other, we are activating the plan that they have for us. I appreciate that. And Ladae Bishop, I appreciate you showing up. She said, every time Black women, a Black woman is seen or speak, we are a threat to someone. And that's interesting. I mean, because they treat them as a threat. Then a Black man, and I'm gonna say this, when a Black woman has some type of intelligence and some kind of pride and dignity, sometimes she intimidates another Black man. She intimidates a Black man. She thinks too much of her, or whatever. You know, you can't just run anything by her. If you that type of dude trying to run something by her and she's not allowing it, then all of a sudden, you know what, she's full of herself. Or the ones that have some type of intellect, they also see that sometimes as a threat. That's something that we have to stop doing. And I appreciate those comments. Teresa said, we have been conditioned to not love our own natural features and characteristics when other races are trying to emulate what we are ashamed of.
Oh man, that's Sister Teresa. She always chimes in and throws some great comments. You know, when I see a sister that's got it going on with all the things you just said, I want to run to her to get some of that fire, get some of them vibes, because I want to know, you know, hey, what makes you the way you are? And if you ask these sisters, because I used to sit around as a young boy and ask the older women questions a lot to find out some of the things they've been through and how they dealt with them, and you'll find they have a lot of knowledge, okay? A lot of people don't look at women as having knowledge. It's always a man sitting around, you know, thinking or looking up, you know, or holding his hand, like trying to be like, but women are, no, I'm saying, Kip, you know, it's true. Women are knowledgeable. They're just as knowledgeable as men. They're wise, just like men are. And so, like the sister saying, we have been taught, man, to see us men as a certain way and damn the woman, so to speak. But then when something happens, who do we run to? Who do we crawl to? Who do we go to? You know, and it ain't Ghostbusters. It's mama. It's mama. That's right.
Mama. Yeah, I appreciate some of those comments. It's a lot to be said about my question to these women, or to our women, is what role do you play in the development of our younger girls? Culturally, to because I know that y'all have to combat this. I know y'all see the same thing some of our men see. When you see these women young girls dressing a certain way, acting a certain way, that's unbecoming of a woman, you know, even that they doing it at younger and younger ages. You think a woman should play in helping to develop society, not your daughters, I mean the women in our community? What role do you think we can play? Because no one's playing that role. I'm not men, not women, not schools, not anything. It may be some organizations trying to do it, like you have a school trying to do it, but I'm talking about we as a people are not doing it. So if we as a people are not doing it, what is it that we can do, or what do you think you can do?
Wow, that's a good challenge. A good challenge. I want to piggyback and go back to the previous statement that I made about mama. I was in the Marine Corps, and we had to go in a house where they threw tear gas, and we had on masks. and we had to take our masks
gas
off.
chamber.
Yeah, we had to take our masks off for like about 30 seconds or so. And it, those who have never been in a house with tear gas in it, it burns your skin, and what I'm trying to say is snot comes out your nose,
you're throwing up sometimes.
And I'm gonna tell you, I was a part of this, so I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like I was, Rambo or somebody. But you would be surprised at what you heard. You would say, well, what did you hear, Jahi? Or just go ahead, tell me what you heard. When they made us take those masks off for those 30 seconds, you would be surprised that most of us in that room was all saying this. Mama, I mean, grown men. Yeah, mama. We were calling for our mothers. Now, we love our fathers too. Don't get this show wrong and twisted. But why did we call for our mamas?
Well, daddy, you can't call for daddy. Daddy'd be like, boy, you better toughen up, punch you in the chest. Mama be like, hey, that's
the nurture, right?
Yeah,
nurture. I think about that. Even sometimes I'm laying in the bed looking at the ceiling before I go to sleep, and I'll bust out laughing because it goes back to there's nothing like a mother's love. Right. And these women that are mothers, they have something that a lot of times they may not look at. And even when they leave this place, they're leaving some things for their children. They're leaving a legacy. Those who have their mothers, you appreciate your mother and don't wait for one day to do something for her. But it goes back to that woman, because it all starts with that woman. And that woman has to be defended. She has to be protected. We have to give everything. And like you mentioned earlier, if we have to give our life for her, we should be willing to do that, because she is that precious and that special to us.
Man, you sidetracked me again, because I was gonna get into something. You brought up something else I want to get into, but dignity. I'm gonna say this about that. You say to mama, your reflection means a lot to your children. So how you carry yourself and what you do means a lot to your children. So you have to protect your image with your children and with society, because your kids are looking.
Yeah.
And it's you may say, well, I got to live my life. You can't have men coming in and out of your house.
Come on, Kel. Come on, man.
You can't have men around your kids, even though it's a filling out process. This man want to take you on a date. Mm-hmm. How you treat that man when he's wanting to come into your life because daddy of the kids is no longer there, or whatever. Your kids are learning from you. They're learning everything. Your sons are learning from you, and your daughters are learning from you. So you have to protect that image. No matter what it is you want to do, you still have to protect that image, and how you speak, how you talk on the phone to other women, with other women, what you letting your kids hear, or even when you're going on social media, because they may not have that access to you now, but at one point they will, and they may think that, okay, what that image I had of my mom was a facade, but that's still something to protect. If we look at grandparents or whatever, if the image that you brought to me that I grew up on, I'm gonna appreciate that, even though I was naive to some of the things I in the world. But kids should be naive to things. But what is happening? They're not being naive to things. They're seeing their mother and their father do certain things in public or act a certain way in social media. And so, what do you think they're gonna do?
Yeah,
with themselves.
This is great. Now we have a couple of what they call house cleaning items that we have to deal with real quick. We have a few minutes, but we want to say we normally are seen on the first and the third Saturday. On the third Saturday this month, we're not going to come on. So don't be sitting there waiting for us. And then next month, instead of coming on the first and third Saturday, because, this guy's in a major production called Shadows of Doubt, Whispers of Innocence at the Joe Lone Theater, September the 15th. He's going to start rehearsing. Both of us are in the place. So we're just having fun with that. It's a major production, but we're going to be rehearsing during the times that we get together. So we're probably we're going to come up with another day, probably a weekday, I should say, and we'll let you know. We'll post so that you'll know, because you don't want to miss our shows. I'm telling you now. And all those who are out there, they can say amen to it, because these shows are powerful. But we want to be honest with you. We want to be men of integrity to let you know the third Saturday this month, we won't come on. And then starting next month, instead of coming on at 1:00 Central Standard Time, we're going to change it to another weekday, and we'll post to let you know that the Jai and Kev show. So don't think we got ran out of town, but I will be out of town in 2 weeks. And man, me and the wife, we finna
I'm just hearing about all of this, y'all. So, it's a pleasure doing the show, man. It's a pleasure doing the production that we're talking about. touching on something, a topic and a situation that many of us have faced with a family member being incarcerated, and what's left behind when they're gone, the family, immediate family, and kids and wives or girlfriends and things like that. So it's a good play that we're going to be a part of, and we have to make room to present it to the people in a powerful fashion, because it's a powerful script and we're trying to present it. So we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes trying to get ready for this. So that's why we're going to have shows that may be during the week.
I think we've done some before in the week, and we've had our faithful followers. We can count on them. So those who follow us, that's what we want. Be aware and be prepared to get some information about when. But hey, man, it's 2:00. As you can tell, I'm the color guy. I'm always running my mouth talking about commercials and all that. Kev just sits back and he just eats, you see. So he puts me out there, then he sits back and eats. But we appreciate all of y'all watching this broadcast, because every week it's pretty much the same people whenever we do it, the 2 times a month. And we want to say to you ladies, we appreciate this, because you don't have to do it, and we don't take you for granted, but we thank you enough to say that you're willing to sit down and listen to 2 guys talk about issues that a lot of people will not address. We talk about a lot of issues, and we thank you for that. So I'll let Kev have last words, and then you'll hear the music. And again, all we can say is we love you. Take heed to all these encouragements we said today, and we'll see you real soon.
Yeah, and like I started to show off, my first comments was saying a call of duty, and I think that taking that in mind, like I presented that to the women about what are you going to do. Either you're going to be part of the problem or part of the solution. You can't be part of the solution if you're not doing anything. You can say, well, I just don't do that type of stuff. As men, either we're going to be part of the problem. A lot of our men complain about these women, but my thing to them is we are the leaders of our community, and if this is happening on our watch, then that's a problem for us. And don't attack the ones that's doing it. Attack our community, not for producing these type of people, whether you're talking boys that don't respect women or young boys that don't respect girls and men that don't respect women. We're producing that. We're producing women that don't respect themselves. And so we have to correct that.
There you go.
That's a problem.
This has been the John Kev Show, y'all. We'll see y'all next month. Peace.
Peace.